All right, hi, good day everyone. So today we'll be doing January 2022, paper 2, number 7. Now, number 7 are our sequence questions. It says, well, this question says, a sequence of figures is made from lines of unit length and dots. The lines form a series of octagons and squares. The dots are placed at each vertex. The first three figures in the sequence below are shown below. Figure 3 of the sequence is shown by itself below. Add more lines or unit lengths and dots to figure 3 to represent figure 4. Now, if we look at the pattern, we see figure 1 has 1 octagon, figure 2 has 2 octagons, figure 3 would have 3 octagons. So obviously figure 4 would have 4 octagons, right? Now, octagon just mean an 8-sided figure, okay? It does not look perfect, but you know. Alright, so it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I have 7 and 8. And then if we look at the other thing that they're adding, between 2, there is the squares. Right? So it has one going up here and like this, one going down here and like this. Right? This is not something I could teach you guys. This is just something via observation, okay? Right? So this is how it would look. I mean, now if in the exam room, if you had to draw something looking like this, you'll use your ruler and make sure is drawn neatly, right? But this is how figure 4 would look. Let's go to the next question, and that's 2 marks. Part B says the number of dots D and the number of unit lines that form the perimeter of the shape P forms a pattern. The value for D and P for the first 3 figures are written in the table below. Study the pattern of the number in each row of the table. Complete the row numbers 1, 2, and 3. Right? So again, we see that the first row is our figure numbers. Second row is the number of dots, and the third row is our perimeter for the figure, which is P. Now, when you see something like this, what I would do is find the formula for n first, right? So if I'm talking about D, which is the number of dots, right, we know that the formula is an is equal to a1 n minus 1 by d. So I need to find out for number of dots, what is my first figure? 8. This is my sequence for number of dots, 8, 16, and 24, and then it could go on and on and on. All right? So a1 would mean my first term is 8, right? My difference, what is the difference between 16 and 8? That is 8. And let's check and see if it's the same for 24 and 16. Correct. 24 and 16, the difference is 8. So we know there's a common difference of 8. Right? Now, if I'm finding my nth term, that means that n is equal to n. Right? And we just put these values into the formula. Right? So it's going to be a, wherever we see n, it remains as n. an is equals to 8, which is a1, plus, open bracket, n stays the same, n minus 1 by d, which is 8, right? So an would be 8 plus, now when you see a number directly outside a bracket, due to distribution law, we have to multiply. 8 by n is 8n. Let's put this in black. 8n, and then 8 by minus 1 is equal to minus 8. All right? Minus 8. So what would we do? Group like terms, right? An would be 8n plus 8 minus 8. These 8 cancel out each other because 8 minus 8 is 0. So my nth term for a number of this would be 8n. So this would be 8n, right? So now when you see, actually, let's first do out the parameter one as well. So you're doing for parameter, the sequence is 8, 14, and 20. Difference between 8 and 14 is 6. Difference between 20 and 14 is also 6. So we know that your first term is equal to 8. Your difference is equal to 6, right? We want to know what formula or what would be n is equal to n. So we want to find out the nth term. So using the same formula, an is equal to a1 plus n minus 1 by d. You put these values in this formula. Wherever you see n remains as n, an is equals to a1, which is 8, plus n minus 1 by d, which is 6. So it's going to be 8. An is equals to 8. Again, distribution law tells us that we have to multiply 6 by each term in the bracket. That's 6 by n, right? And 6 by minus 1, right? So 6 by n is 6n, and 6 by minus 1 is minus 6, right? Group like terms. So an would be 6n plus 8 minus 6. An for your parameter would be 6n plus 2. So that is the formula you're going to have here. 6n plus 2. Now that we know this, the other two should be very easy, right? If we equate, we can see wherever you see n, you're going to put 4. So n is equals to 4. So that's going to be 8 by 4, which is equal to 32, right? And then we have 6 by 4 plus 2, 6 4s are 24. 24 plus 2 is 26. All right, and those would be the two answers. Then we're going to do the second part. They tell you that A, your parameter is 86. What is your figure number and what is the number of dots? So first off, we're going to use this formula that we know for the nth term, that's 6n plus 2 is equals to 86. We don't know what n is, so we're trying to find out what is your figure number, basically. So you're going to make n the subject. You carry across plus 2, that's 6n. Opposite of plus is minus, is 86 minus 2. So 6n is equals to 84. So n, we're going to carry across 6. The opposite of multiply by 6 is divide by 6. So that's 84 divided by 6. 6 we're going to 8. 1 time, remainder 2. 6 we're going to 24. 6 4 so 20. We're at 4 times. So we know that n is equals to 40. Now that we solve for n, number of dots is pretty easy. We see that the formula is 8n. We know that we're going to equate it. Wherever we see n, we saw 14. So it's going to be 8 by 14 is equal to 112. So the answer here would be 112. And that is how you would do this right here. Now, part C says for any figure where n is more than 1, the number of dots d is greater than the parameter p. Determine the value of n for a figure in which the difference between d and p is 36. So when they say the difference between d and p, right, I would use my formulas. So they're telling you that 8n minus 6n plus 2 is equal to 36. That's basically what it said. Determine the value for n for a figure in which the difference between d and p, they told you d is the greater value. So it's the greater value minus the lesser value. Yeah? Is equal to 36. Now, what you need to understand about this is we're subtracting this entire thing. So it's going to be minus 6 minus by 6n. That would be minus 6n. And minus by positive 2 would give you minus 2. Right? Is equals 36. We want to make n the subject. So 8n minus 6n is 2n. You're going to carry across minus 2. So that is equals to 36 plus 2. So 2n is equal to 38. Right? The relationship between 2 and n is multiplication. So if you carry across, multiply by 2n. Right? You know that would be the opposite of multiply by is divide. So n is equals to 38 divided by 2. 38 divided by 2 is equals to 19. So n is equals to 19. And that would be the answer for this question. Right, so that would be the end of January 2022.